there for a long time when I was small, but I never met him never saw him or met him in any way until after I was around 15, and I saw him. And he was always in and out of trouble with breaking the law, doing things he had no business in.
Concerned with the business, the gambling, perhaps?
Yes, gambling.
Okay, now, my understanding is that he was connected somehow with recruitment of men.
Yeah, he helped to get the men out from the east out to Roslyn in the early days to help break the strike there. Mm-hmm. And they had a little settlement, I call it a settlement, little area where there's a lot of Negroes. They put them all in a group, housing. They didn't have nice homes like the whites. They wouldn't let them live over this area, and they wouldn't let them live in that area.
This was in Roslyn?
In Roslyn. And the same thing in Ravensdale, and the same thing in Franklin. They were all grouped together, except my dad. Now he bought his home, and he moved down in the flats.
Were there problems with him being a Negro in those days, moving out of the designated area?
Yes.
Did he have problems as a result of that?
No, not after. Once we moved, he didn't have any trouble.
Now, was this company housing where the blacks were at for that area that you mentioned? That was company housing? Yes,
company housing. And then when we moved to Ravensdale, there's no place in town you could live except up on the slack dump, where the mines had filled in a lot of land, and there's just nothing but slack from the mines.
From the mines.
Then they built houses on it.
These were company houses also?
Yeah, company houses.
And that's the only place?
And that's the only place you could live, but we didn't live there. We moved to Georgetown, a little suburb from Ravensdale. And we were the only blacks, only Negroes that wasn't living in this dump. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they call it the slack dump. That's where the Negroes lived. And we moved down there, and there was a man named Mr. Frazier, Jack Frazier. He was the only one down there that would rent us a place to live.
That would rent a place to live?
Yes, in this place. But after we moved down there, we were able to get some land, about an acre and a half of land, and we built our own home there.
This was
in Ravensdale.
In Ravensdale. Okay. So you were able to buy, and you didn't have any problems?
No, we didn't have any problem. Once we moved down there, we didn't have any trouble. Mm-hmm. And people are all nice. We had a little trouble with the kids for a while there. Little kids, they would throw rocks at us or something, and we'd throw back, and they quit. And next thing you know, they was all piled up at the door playing.
Like kids will do.
Mm-hmm. So that's the only trouble we ever had in Ravensdale. We didn't have any in Roslyn. But everything was pretty quiet and pretty settled, organized, when we moved to Roslyn. But they had people could live different places if they bought their homes, but they didn't the whites wouldn't rent them a place, but they'd sell them a place. And several of them had pretty nice homes there, and they could live right beside you, and they didn't bother you, and sometimes they became very good friends. But and when we moved over, we lived for about a year in a rented house until we got our place. We bought some land and built our own home, and we lived there until I left home and got married. And I was going to live in Seattle, and my husband couldn't find the work that he wanted, and so we moved back to Roslyn. He went in the mines. But when my baby was born, when Cecil was born, I moved to, I said I wasn't going to raise him in a coal mine because I was apprehensive. Every day I was worried until my husband would show up.
Did you have many cave-ins and...
Always something happening. Always somebody getting hurt or something, you know. And I just didn't want to go through with that. So I told him I was going to move to Seattle. And he said he wasn't going to move. So I packed up Cecil and came to Seattle. And I was over here. I was looking for a job. And I couldn't find one at first, you know. I found the job, but I couldn't find the proper babysitter like I wanted to put my child in. And there's a white woman that says she would take care of him. She had a little boy about the same size as mine. And he was about 2 years old. And so, but before I went on the job, who should show up but my husband? And he came over, and we got a house. He got a job, because it was easy to get a job then, and he got a job right away. And we moved in, and he's working for the railroad company.